You also mentioned, I know we talked a little bit before the interview about a heads-up situation that lasted a shit long time.
Right, right.
It was kind of an interesting concept, an interesting switch that happened there. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. And I think, yeah, sometimes, as I said, I mean, I'm a former, I mean, I've been doing triathlon semi-professionally, no? And I've been doing Olympic triathlon. Olympic triathlon is you run for 10 kilometers. I mean, you swim for 1.5 kilometers, bike for 40, and run for 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's in a way it's an endurance,
a lot of like discipline. A mental challenge also, right?
Exactly, exactly. So it's the same that you have to do in a marathon. I've been running marathons as well. I've been running the New York Marathon, for example.
Oh, interesting.
And and so basically, I think oftentimes a poker tournament is like that. And in marathons, what happens is that sometimes at a certain point in the marathon, even the top ones, I mean, the ones who win the marathons, they have a moment when their body performance goes drastically down.
Mm-hmm. Like a
dramatically down.
Or...
Yes, exactly. And I think, and their best skill is to have the mental strength to overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And I think this is very much true for a poker player. So what happened is that, yes, we had this heads up, which was super long because it was the final day. We start at 1 p.m. and we start the heads up at midnight.
And which tournament was that?
This is Slovak Series of Poker main event, right? Okay. So we start the heads up at midnight, and we normally heads up don't last that. I mean, they last maybe half an hour, 1 hour, because people play more aggressively, because I mean, there is soon a situation where you go all in, and who wins, right? But this was not our case. We were both super tight. So it was really an endurance marathon. After 5 hours at 5 a.m., we were still there and still had almost equal stack.
Okay.
So I think for those watching was super boring, probably because we were super tight. I remember one time I fold 2 pairs, and I made the right fold because he had a flush. Mm-hmm. But how many people would fold 2 pairs in a heads up? I think very few, right?
Especially, so anyway, as we said, after being tired and everything.
Exactly. But the key was that at a certain point, I noticed that my opponent is giving up mentally. Mm-hmm. I see he starts drinking a little bit. His attitude, really his physical attitude on the table start to be more relaxed. And there I start to think, I will win this tournament.
Yeah, now you got
because
him.
He's giving up. He's giving up. I see. We just have to wait the right time. And the right time comes when he somehow pretends to win the tournament with 10 deuce.
Okay.
So imagine we are playing very tight. The board, there are 2 kings on the board. I have a king. I have king 9 in my hand. And I barrel 3 times. And there is a deuce on the turn. And I go all in, and he calls.
With 10 deuce.
With 10 deuce, thinking that I'm bluffing. But of course, I'm not bluffing. I mean, because in that situation, we have played 5 hours super tight. It wouldn't be profitable for me to bluff there. So
this is super interesting. Yeah, it shows kind of like the breaking point, right? The breaking moment when, like, if he regards everything that was going on, how tight you both were, and everything, he should have easily folded at any point.
So you are in the interview. You look normal, but it's just that I don't think you want. Yeah, right.
No, it's not a problem. I mean,
it's not a problem. Okay.
We're gonna mention Marina anyway because you do a channel with her, so why not, right? And also, like, this is an interesting thing to mention for everybody who's an aspiring poker player, especially for tournament players who play tournaments for 8, 9, 10, 11 hours. Do sports, right? Do some sort of physical activity because it will definitely help you.
Absolutely. I don't think if it has to be sport, it can be something else. I mean, but do something that trains your endurance.
Yeah, exactly.
That trains your mental strength.
Mm-hmm.
It can be sport, it can be yoga, it can be something else. I mean, but in my opinion, yes, in order to get at the top, you need to have something that, in that sense, I think that the mentality of the winning poker players is the same mentality of sports people who are winning people.
Definitely. And it's so interesting to see now that the conversation developed. You had no background in poker like 2 years ago, but yet you are doing a lot of things that actually helped you a lot with poker, right? That you could implement. And that is like really, really interesting to see. And it goes to show how like versatile poker is, right? How like everything that you learn throughout life can be used in poker to get better at it.
Yes, I mean, I think when I started to play poker, I was thinking, that's one of the best role games to explain life.
Okay.
Because you have many situations in poker that are somehow replicating life situations, but in miniature, right? In a very small context.
Yeah.
People think, oh, it's just, people who don't know poker might think, oh, no, it's just, it's just a game, or some people might consider it gambling. But in fact, there is lots of psychology, there are lots of interactions. And, well, if you have it in a real situation, what happens is that maybe they are very loud situations. In a poker table, everything is like miniature, like very small, but it's there. So if you know how to move the real situation into poker, you can use it to your advantage.
That's a really interesting thought. And I do agree with that 100% for sure. So I mean, you seem to have quite a lot of fun at poker, which is always amazing, right? To keep the fun in what you are doing.